Hi guys, it's Jessie Holton here, your Stampin' Up demonstrator for Australia, jessieholton.com. Today I thought that I would use these two sets, Dragonfly Dreams and Jar of Love, and I'm going to make a sunset scene using these two. Now I have previously, a couple of years ago, used Jar of Love when it was just new to make a sunset card, and it was a little shaker card with the little bumblebees in the jar, or fireflies. I thought that I would make another version of that card with the dragonflies and make it into a scene that can be framed as wall art. I've been down to my local $2 shop and I got these frames. They're 20 centimeters by 25 centimeters. So I've trimmed the paper down just a little bit bigger than that so that it fits inside the frame. So I'm going to start off with doing some silhouetting, and I thought that I would use Night of Navy with these little plants. And we're just going to do these over and over again in a few different colours to create sort of the side of a field. And I'm just going to start with these up a little bit higher and bring them down into the frame just to create a little bit of a outside border. I'm going to do these ones in Mossy Meadow. I'm going to do these finer ones again in Pear Pizzazz. And I'm just going to do these ones again. I did them in navy. I'm going to do them again in So Saffron. I'm going to now do Pear Pizzazz for the dragonfly. Alright, now I'm going to get started with the sponging. So I'm starting off, I buy these sponges from Stampin' Up, and I find that for me they're a bit big to hold. I prefer them just down the size, so I cut them in quarters. I think it's $6 for a pack of 3 of the full circles, so it works out pretty good value. And I have used one of the label punches just to be able to write the name of the colour on there, and I don't stick to just that colour. I'll use the sponge. This one says Old Olive on it, but I will use it for any of those greens within that same spectrum. So a tip for sponging is that you want to have the pad open so that you can access the ink pad and the lid. It's really important, especially when using these sort of sponges, to ink up and then ink off, and you just keep tapping and rubbing and stuff. You pick the ink back up again. When you initially ink up your sponge, you will have, in all these little pockets of the sponge, there will be little pockets of ink. So when you rub it on your page, you're going to get dark streaks. And if you ink up and then ink it off onto the lid and pick it back up again, it picks it up a lot more evenly rather than having it all in those little pockets. It's an even coverage across the sponge. Another tip with your sponging is to start just a little bit off the page and work your way onto it. Okay, so now I've done the Pear Pizzazz. I'm going to move up into my yellows. I'm going to move into Calypso Coral now. And now I'm moving on to Gorgeous Grape. The Night of Navy. Now I've got another stamp set here, the Balloon Celebrations, and I'm just using these little outline stars. I wanted to have it a heavier concentration of stars within the darker area, and they sort of fade out. So I'm quite happy with that. And lastly, I just wanted to add some of these little, some of the little beads. And the last step is to add a couple of our beautiful little dragonflies. I'm actually going to bend their wings up to create that 3D look. So I'm just going to use a couple of the mini dimensionals. Beautiful. So now I'm going to pop that back in my frame, and I'm going to keep the glass in there because it'll help make it a bit thicker and help the backing stay in place. And isn't that lovely? Please remember that we have the Occasions catalogue at the moment. This is January through May 2019. We also have from January through March 2019 the Celebrations promotion. So for every $90 that you spend on my online shop, you can choose a freebie out of this catalogue, and there are lots of cool things to choose from. So drop me a line if you need a copy of those. I can post one to you anywhere in Australia as long as you don't have a demonstrator whom you already order through. This is Jessie Holton, your Stampin' Up demonstrator for Australia, jessieholton.com. Thanks for joining me for another crafting video, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.